Hi, this is Joachim Kans, the singer of Hammerfall, and you're watching CMS TV.
Living on a prayer.
And here comes the guitar waving thing.
All right.
We gotta hold on, ready or not. We live for the fight. We need
I didn't know that was one word.
But again, hit play, because then he goes back and starts waving the guitar around a little bit. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, no one's gonna hear like a whammy off an acoustic guitar, dude. Like, you know, maybe if it's like mic'd up live, you know, in front of an arena with like a shitload of every kind of production, but solo in a room, it just looks like you're waving the thing around like a goof.
He is a goof, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's play some more. Here we go.
Yes.
What a dick.
See? And you see, they're that way.
Look, too early.
Yep. I'm telling you, dude.
Take my hand, naked I swear.
Here it comes.
Halfway there, living on a prayer. Take my hand, naked I swear.
See, look, see.
Got a mic.
See, they cut him off. They cut his mic off.
Well, and that part, even before that, when they had him today with him 10 years ago and Richie 10 years ago, that was all fucked up sounding.
It was.
That just sounded like a mesh of like two things playing at once.
Now, granted, they were doing this live, but still, like, you have to, like, if you're working for a Bon Jovi, and if you are Bon Jovi, like, you've got the money to like figure this shit out before you start. Like, and like, that's like you said, like, all of a sudden, then we're going to bring John in and do it like John now and John then and Richie and oh fuck, we're off. Like, and all, like, I mean, play it back, dude. Like, it was so fucking off.
It's like, let me go back to that. That's right here.
Oh, so
all right, just
bad.
listen to how off this is. This is like
All right.
completely off the rails. Right here.
Take my hand, naked I swear. Halfway there, living on a prayer. Take my hand, naked I.
I just like to point out, you and I were silent during that. It wasn't us making noises over that.
Yeah. That's so bad, dude.
Fucking trash.
Oh, but again, you know, that speaks to the ego.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks to the ego of these guys. Like, they're just like, fuck it, man. Like, I'm John Bon Jovi. You'll eat the shit sandwich. Like David Lee Roth, we've talked about so many times. Like, you'll eat the shit sandwich, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and
but
you'll
it sounds like crap.
I wonder if there's like 50, 60-year-old soccer moms at home or soccer grandmoms at home that are listening to this in their minivan and going, oh, John is so special.
You know they do, though. but again, in you know, in their defense, the soccer moms don't know. Like, you and I are watching and listening to this, like having like seen umpteen millions of hours of video of bands and knowing like the behind the scenes of this, that, and the other.
Right.
So, like, get him credit there. But this one, I think, is a little bit obvious. Like, you know, come here to work on the job. You know, the shit all the time. And
There's just
You know,
nothing. There's nothing appealing or good to this.
yeah, I mean, like,
Nothing. His performance stinks. The editing stinks. The shaking the guitar is fucking fresh out of an Elvis video.
that one.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Now,
You know?
I can't say the performance stinks on only one respect.
I can't.
He's exactly on pitch. You know, there's no way to auto tune this. So, like, note wise, he's like pitch perfect, which is cool. You know, so that's good. And again, his vibrato is whoa, whoa. Like, he's powerful and great. Like, but the and then the like putting Richie in, like, I mean, like, honestly, this, like, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question.
All right.
I think as bad as this was with the like, you know, slash, I think it might have been at least a little better if he hadn't put the Richie Sambora shit in there, because it kind of juxtaposed, like, you know, good stuff and clean stuff against him just, you know, kind of being aged. Like, what do you think?
No, he stinks. He stinks. And you're like so many fans that try to give these guys a lifeline. I don't care that you're older and that your voice changed or whatever. If you can't do it anymore, stop.
Well, but I'm not saying that with him. I'm saying, like, because you hear Richie, like classic Richie, which I'm sure Richie, by the way, still sounds the same way. You hear classic Richie, like, it kind of makes it worse. But it like, and this is bad, but I just don't think it would be. I mean, let's say this is 100% bad. I think it would only be 95% bad. Like, you know, like,
how giving of you.
Right? And like, it's funny, like, you're just like the fans, like, I'm not a Bon Jovi fan, dude. Like, as a kid, like, I love Bon Jovi, and I bought the records, and as I've literally, as I've gotten older, like, don't like, Bon Jovi, cool, not cool, like, just not a fan. Like, and part of it is, you know, skewed because, you know, you've told me that he's a fucking asshole in person.
Right.
So, and you know me, I just, if musicians are fucking assholes in person, which we can get to that topic, you know, after the next break, but I fucking hate musicians that are actual fucking dickheads. But
sure.
You know, I mean, this was terrible, but
yeah, I'll give John credit where credit's due. The guy can write a fucking ballad. That is the strength of John Bon Jovi.
Do you think it's him though, or is it Desmond Child?
Whoever it was that worked with him, whatever their combination developed, it's kind of like the thing with Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Whoever the fuck it was, you know, when you start naming off the Bon Jovi ballads, whether it's Living in Sin, Wanted Dead or Alive, Always, Better Roses, you know, even stuff like I'll Be There for You, you know, these are fucking tremendous ballads. Silent Night, you know, I mean, he wrote, sang, worked with, whatever he did to come up with these songs. They are fucking as good as any ballads go.
Yeah.
Outside of that, rest of it was just poppy shit. But the guy could write the guy or whoever it was could fucking write a ballad.
Right. I still wonder, you know, and we'll move on after this and, you know, take a break, play some songs or whatever. But like, I still wonder because, you know, Slippery When Wet, you know, their breakout record, it was Desmond Child. And, you know, they've been very vocal about the fact that Desmond Child was the one that, you know, fucking wrote, you know, Living on a Prayer, like
again, who cares?
All those songs. Like, so is it really him? Like, I wonder, like, because I've worked with a producer, like, and just on a local level, like, I know what a fucking producer can do to change a song. So it's like, well, how much did John and Richie really write? Like, how much did the producer come up with? Whatever. But, you know, so I mean, you got to wonder.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't. I don't
You
know.
have to assume that that most of it was them.
Yeah,
'Cause a producer doesn't come in and go, no, change all these notes and do this what I said. So
Well,
like tons of credit to them. So
and
tons of credit.
if you listen to their catalog is kind of out of even if you listen to stuff before they were big. If you listen to the two albums, the self-titled and 7800 Fahrenheit,
yeah,
they had songs that would have fit on any album. Silent Night would have fit on any album, and Love Lies would have fit on any album.
Yeah.
And here I am showing my Bon Jovi knowledge, which is retarded, but I was a big fan.
You love all kinds of music. Shame.
He's one of those guys that I was a fan of until I met. And then once I met, it's intolerable to listen to now. Plus he's done 20 years of shit music and then
but I mean,
If I Was Your Mother is like a song about a mom fucking her kids. And it's like, what were they thinking there?
Right.
If I was your mother, would I lay with you? It's like, what?
Right.
Ugh. That's how pathetic we've become in our real life. Back in the old days, like part of my day, like there was literally a part of my day that was scheduled for working out. That was my, especially when I was in the service. When I was, and I had such a routine in the service. When I was in the service, I would go out about 10 o'clock at night. I would get all fucked up. I would stay out in the Ville in Itaewon till fucking about 4:35 in the morning. I would stay out partying and fucking hookers or whatever the fuck I was doing. and then I would come in, I would run in from the Ville. It was like about a mile and a half to the base.
Right.
And I would go drunk straight to the gym, which was, I don't know, maybe 0.2 of a mile from our barracks.
Okay.
And I would lift weights for 45 minutes. And then at exactly 5:45, I would haul ass back to the barracks so I could throw on my PT clothes. And then I would do PT with the fucking unit. I would do, the jumping jacks and the, side straddle hop and all that other horseshit.
Right.
Fucking and then run like, I don't know, 5 or 6 miles. But it was so fucking slow to me at that point that it was like, all right, whatever. The worst part would be I would feel the beer just sloshing around in my gut as I was
gonna say, how did you deal with that? Like, could you imagine doing that? Like, let's say you weren't like a big tub of shit right now. Like, could you imagine being like my size and which I'm not in shape by any means, but I'm smaller than you. Like, could you imagine like running any length of like with a shitload of beer in your gut? Like, dude, oh my God, especially the amounts that you put down, like,
dude. Well, the thing was, at least where I was and what we were doing in Korea, that was part of the game. Was we used to always, everybody did it. It wasn't just me. It was, we really got accustomed to it. We used to do this thing. I forget what it was called, but it was like a half marathon type of a thing, but every mile marker you had to stop and chug a beer. So you would run a mile, you'd run a mile, chug a beer, run the next mile, chug a beer, run the next mile, chug a beer, all the way around. And it was nothing to just do this. And I think this is where I developed, like, you know me, I don't have any problem at all puking.
Yeah.
And that's why, because I used to do some of this stupid shit, and I'd be like, "Fuck, I'm running." All right, let's keep on going. Fuck it, just sometimes it was easier to just throw it up than it was to try and keep it down and slow down. I didn't want to slow down when I was running, so it was like, I'll just throw it up. By the
man, we've talked about this. Like, sorry to cut you up, but I still don't get the whole. God, we talked about this last week at the show that never happened, but like you and we'll get to that. But like, dude, I cannot get over, like, I'm one of those people. You said when you puke, when you were drinking, like if you puke, you're like, let's rage. And if I puke, I'm like, The night is fucking over.
Dude, no way.
I just, God, my stomach is like, all right, if it's, but then again, like I've told you, I puked maybe 3 times from drinking ever.
Nah, it's a mental thing. Dude, it's a mental thing. Most people associate puking, like mentally, they associate puking with being so fucked up that they have to stop, or they'll die. I mean, that's the feeling that most people have. Me, I just associate it with all right, now I'm not full anymore. I just am like, fuck it, let's go back.
Right.
Let's go do it. And I do, and puking to me is nothing. It's like, all right, well, fuck. Now I can go. Where you're thinking this is the end of the night, I'm thinking, well, I just threw up, and I threw up a lot, so that's like 4 more hours added to the party.
Well, but how does your body feel? Because like for me, if my body is like ejecting things, my body's like, we're done. Get your fucking ass in bed. Like my body wants nothing to do with anything else for the rest of the night. It's just my body physically is done. Nah. So like,
I usually feel that way for like a minute or two, couple of minutes, right. But then it's like, all right, well, let's go.
Well, we're gonna get into this.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking Souls of Black tour. It just came out this week with fucking Megadeth and Judas Priest. They were on tour in 1990, and Dave Mustaine tried to ban Testament from doing the full show.
Yep.
So I mean, let's get into that, dude, because it's been on Blabbermouth, like it's a big thing. Like again, like we talked about this earlier with like musicians being fucking assholes. Like, how about the fact that like it was 1990, and at that point, like Testament had I think the Souls of Black record, I think was their 4th album.
Mm-hmm.
It was either 3rd or 4th. And Megadeth had Rust in Peace, which was obviously monstrous.
Sure.
But why the fuck would Dave be an ass and not let Testament have all the sound, all the as an opening band? Like if you're touring on a record as unbelievably untouchable as fucking Rust in Peace, and you're with like Testament and Judas Priest, like why would Dave Mustaine not let Testament do all their backdrops and all that kind of stuff? Like why would he feel threatened by that? Like if you're on a record like Rust in Peace, like why would you feel threatened by that? I don't get it. Like,
yeah, I don't. The only thing I could think of is that Megadeth not as good of a live band as Testament. Simple as that. And they didn't want him to show them up every night.
Now wait a minute. Like now, especially back then, like, do you think like, I mean, and this is like a apples to apples comparison. Like Testament is obviously incredible live, and back then in 1990, it was the classic lineup of Megadeth. So like, right. I mean. So obviously they were like razor sharp. Like, so what excuse did Dave have for trying to keep Testament from doing just a backdrop?
I'm not saying that Megadeth was not as good as Testament. What I'm saying is that's the perception. That's the, that fucking ego of we can't get shown up. We can't let these guys have anything which would show us up. But my personal taste is that Testament is a better live band than Megadeth. Always has been, personally. I don't think Megadeth's bad, but I think they're a little boring. I mean, let's be honest. For 30 years now, Mustaine comes to the middle of the stage, fucking shakes his head and plays, and he rips his fucking ass off, but he doesn't do anything. He just stands there and riffs and fucking shakes his head.
Yeah,
and
hard to argue there. Yep.
Junior puts on a good show, and whatever guitar player that they always have has always done a pretty good job, right. And the drummers have always been solidly, solid, but not solidly solid, but not spectacular drummers. Where Testament, if you watch any Testament video of any tour that they've ever played, they start out bone dry, they end up soaked to the bone.
Yep.
Every Testament show ever, they put everything out.
Yep.
And again, I'm not shitting on Megadeth Live. I've enjoyed Megadeth Live a dozen times or more. So I'm not shitting on them. I'm just saying that as far as a show goes, Testament every time.
Yeah, dude. I like, and nobody that's listening will know this reference, but you will. I took Dominic's first actual thrash metal show was Sepultura opening for Testament at the Agora a couple years ago, and we left, and he was like, Dominic, like he doesn't say shit if he's got a mouthful. And we left. I was like, God damn. And he looked at me. He was like, yeah, that was cool. Like, and for Dominic, that means this fucking rocked. I mean, Testament is just, and Chuck Billy's got that like half mic stand, like Joey does for, and oh my God. Yeah. They're just fucking fantastic. Like, and, but I think in this story, where, Chuck's talking about Dave being a cock. Like, I think we talked about this earlier, him being a cock, how awesome is it that Rob Halford was like, fuck you, they're getting the full show.
Well, that's Dave was throwing his weight around, and then fucking Halford said, wait a minute, I'm the fucking headliner here.
Right.
I'll read a little bit of this. In a brand new interview with Machine Head frontman Rob Flynn's No Fucking Regrets with Rob Flynn podcast, Testament singer Chuck Billy reflected on his band's first ever U.S. arena tour, which took place in 1990 with Judas Priest as the headliner and Megadeth as additional support. Billy said, for the Priest tour, we decided we were going to spend some time on production. We bought a big fancy Volker rack. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is? A Volker rack?
It's a drum rack. So it's basically like the drums look way bigger than they actually are. Yeah.
It's like that Queensryche type box thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of one of those. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We bought 2 new scrims, full on backline, the whole deal. Nice looking show. And we get to the first show, and Dave Mustaine sees us have it up, and he says we can't use it. We have a little problem. So we have a little problem with the first week of the tour. And I could see where he'd be pissed after they spent a shit ton of money. I mean, I'm assuming this rack thing costs a lot of money.
A lot, yes.
And I'm assuming that getting custom scrims isn't cheap.
No, well, back then, again, he'll say in a second, 15 to 20 grand back then.
Yeah, wow.
Which now is like 5-6 grand, but
Let's see here. He continues. I was pissed because we just spent all this money, and those were the days when they were hand painted backdrops. These backdrops were 15 to 20 grand. They weren't cheap then. So we were like, we're coming out to represent. Priest tour in arenas, man. We're coming out. But Dave threw his weight around and said, we can't use all of our new stuff. So for the first week, we were like tails between our legs playing. And that sucks. I feel bad for the people that caught the first leg of the tour or the first week of the tour.
Right.
Got a shitty Testament show. Well, it probably wasn't shitty, but it wasn't the full thing. Let's see. And all the guys in our band said, Chuck, you seem to be friends with Rob. Go in there and tell him. He keeps telling you guys, if you guys need anything, just ask. So go in there. And I'd had it. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna. So I went in there. It was like 3 or 4 days into the tour. I go in the Priest dressing room. I said, hey, Rob, you got a minute? I need to talk to you. I go, I don't know who to talk to, but I'm going to come to you. And if it's your guys' decision, hey, I'm down with it. But I thought I would bring this up. We bought all this stuff for this tour to put on a nice show. And the Megadeth guys said we can't play because they said you guys wouldn't let us use it.
Well, now real quick, it
Yeah.
sounded like you said the Megadeth guys.
Yeah.
What is it?
Megadeth
The Megadeth
guy.
guy,
Yeah.
singular.
My
So
bad.
basically, Dave Mustaine said, "Fuck
Yeah,
off." So
exactly.
continue.
And he was like, "What? Who said that?" Right there, he went and got his tour manager and said, get in here. Rob said, "Do you know anything about this? Them not letting Testament not use their gear?" Tour manager says no. And Rob said, "You make sure tonight that they get that damn gear up there." So we had a full-blown show. And who comes side stage to watch the show? There goes Mr. Mustaine.
Mr. Mustaine.
Mr. Mustaine is standing there just pissed off. He just had that look. And we were looking over just like, oh yeah, Dave. And we were putting it on, throwing it down. And that's how that tour started. That's funny. But you know what, dude? There's so much of that politics that goes on in these tours and it still goes on. That's what's amazing to me is that, now it's like Testament's been out there 30 fucking years and, and they play these big shows, but like you and I went and saw, me, you, Stephanie, and Dominic went and saw Slayer, Death Angel,
and Anthrax.
Behemoth and Anthrax. That was the tour.
No, not Behemoth. That was they played Blossom. No, the show that we saw was Death Angel, Anthrax, and Slayer. Behemoth was at the Slayer tour, like at Blossom, which you wanted nothing to do with.
Oh, all right. Well,
and before I go, shout out to the Classic Metal Show. I did an interview on there yesterday. Dudes are intelligent, awesome, prepared, funny. Please check them out. Classic Metal Show. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.